We all think we know ginger, right? It's that spicy kick in our stir-fry, that soothing tea we drink when our stomach's upset. But what if I told you that the part we've been calling a root our entire lives isn't actually a root at all? Today, we're going to peel back the layers of this super common spice to uncover its true identity and the secret chemical that gives it all its power. All right, let's start with the big one. For years, I, like probably most of you, have called this a ginger root. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? It grows underground, you pull it from the dirt. Well, it turns out that's one of the biggest misconceptions about this entire plant.
So, if it's not a root, what in the world is it? The part you grate into your meals or steep for your tea has a much cooler and way more scientifically accurate name.
And here it is. It's a rhizome. So what does that mean? It means it's not a root, it's actually an underground stem. Think of it like the plant's subway system, sending roots down into the soil and new shoots up towards the sun. So yeah, we've been eating the stem this whole time.
Okay, so if that's what's happening underground, what does the rest of the ginger plant even look like? You might actually be surprised. The part we eat is really just the starting point for a pretty stunning, almost tropical-looking plant.
Let's just zoom in on the rhizome itself for a second. It's often described as looking like a gnarled, knotted hand, which is pretty spot on. Its skin starts out thin and gets more papery and kind of corky as it gets older. But the real magic, happens when you snap it open and get that blast of pale yellow, super fragrant goodness.
But above ground, the plant is seriously impressive. Picture these lush clumps shooting up, maybe 3 or 4 feet high, with these vibrant, spear-shaped green leaves. It honestly looks more like a decorative bamboo plant than something you'd grow for cooking. And here's a cool little detail. The leaves grow in 2 perfectly neat, straight rows.
But the real hidden gem of the ginger plant is the flower. You almost never see this on the ginger we buy in stores. It grows out of this little green cone-like spike, and from there, these tiny, exotic yellowish-green flowers bloom, and each one has this incredible deep purple lip. It's a true hidden beauty.
So we've seen the plant, and it's gorgeous. But what about its power? That signature heat, all those health benefits, where do they really come from? Well, to find that out, we've got to look a little closer at its secret chemical ingredient.
The answer comes down to one word: gingerol. This is the main bioactive compound in fresh ginger. It's the source of all that antioxidant and anti-inflammatory magic. You could pretty much say that gingerol is the hero of the whole story. Now that we've met our hero, gingerol, let's see what it can actually do for our bodies. This is where ginger really goes from being just a simple spice to something you could almost call a natural pharmacy right there in your kitchen. So what does gingerol actually do? Well, if you're feeling nauseous, it's a natural anti-emetic. For indigestion, it literally helps speed up how fast your stomach empties. If you've got arthritis or sore muscles, it gets in there and blocks the compounds that cause inflammation. It even offers antimicrobial support for things like a cold, and might even help with blood sugar levels. It is an incredibly versatile little compound.
Okay, so the science is super impressive, but how do we actually put all these benefits to work in our day-to-day lives? Let's switch gears from the why to the how.
Ginger's uses are just so varied. Of course, there's cooking and using it in healthy drinks. That's the obvious stuff. But it can also be used topically for muscle eggs or preserved, like that pickled ginger you get with your sushi. And maybe the simplest, most classic way to use it is just making a fresh ginger tea. It's so easy. All you do is slice or grate some fresh ginger, let it steep in hot water for a few minutes, and maybe add a little lemon or honey if you want. It's just a perfect way to get a direct dose of all those amazing benefits. Now, with any ingredient that's this potent, even a natural one, it's always really important to be informed. So before we wrap this up, we have to talk about one crucial note on using ginger safely and responsibly. And here's the key takeaway. Ginger can have a mild blood thinning effect. Now, this is especially important to know if you're taking anticoagulant medications, blood thinners, or if you have a surgery scheduled. In those cases, it is absolutely essential to talk to your doctor before you start using large medicinal amounts. It's always better to be safe. So there you have it. The thing we've been calling a root is really a rhizome, which is part of a beautiful plant, and it's a powerful natural medicine, all thanks to gingerol. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday foods sitting in our kitchens are hiding such complex and fascinating stories?